What would America look like if there were no national parks? No Yellowstone, no Everglades, no Rocky Mountains, just highways and cities from coast to coast. The National Park Service covers more than 85 million acres across the U.S., according to the NPS. The NPS has many benefits on the environment and public, but can also be detrimental to the wildlife that lives within them. On the map that I have here, all the national parks are marked by little trees, while the ones that I have personally visited are circled. This topic has a special place in my heart, because I have visited 29 out of the 63 national parks. And this experience has influenced me to want to inform others about national parks. I want to inform you on the efforts that the NPS puts into conservation and education, while still highlighting the main issues that the environmental strains bring to these parks. The first benefit that these national parks have that I would like to bring my attention is conservation. It is a focus for the NPS. It is what they were originally created for, to preserve the scenery, historical sites, and wildlife for future generations. First, national parks conserve landscapes. A local example of this is Cuyahoga Valley National Park. According to an article called Creating Cuyahoga Valley National Park, in 1920, during the industrial rises of Akron, so much pollution flowed into the river it eventually caught fire in 1969. The National Park System came together and designated the area as a national park. While cleanup projects changed it to a symbol of environmental recovery, another example of this is the world's first national park, Yellowstone. It was created to protect the geysers, forests, and hot springs that were formed on top of the dormant supervolcano. Yellowstone continues to be protected from further construction on the delicate earth, preserving the cornerstone of U.S. conservation. Second, the parks conserve the wildlife. The American bison, once nearly hunted to extinction, made a comeback thanks to the assistance of Yellowstone and many other national parks. The national parks provided protected land for the bison, despite the continued issue of bison migration, which forced the national parks to try to halt hunting of bison that wandered outside of national parks, according to the NPS history of bison management. The NPS also protects smaller species, such as the cryptobiotic soil crust found in Arches National Park. According to the NPS, biological soil crust activity, they have a slogan that says, "Don't bust the crust, it's alive." The soil is filled with microorganisms, which allows for less erosion and more water retention within this desert ecosystem. But if it dies, if it is stepped on, the national park works to preserve, to keep the desert healthy. Finally, the park system protects history. At Mesa Verde, the cliff dwellings of the ancestral Pueblo people have stood for 600 years, according to the cliff dwellings. The NPS took the area under its wings to protect the history of these native sites. Another historical area that the NPS protects is Gettysburg. One of the most defining moments of the Civil War took place on these grounds. It remains untouched by development, so future generations can reflect on its history. Outside of conservation, the NPS also has benefits that it brings to the country. Education is at the forefront for the national park system, with museums, ranger parks, and youth programs. The most successful example of a youth program of the national parks is the Junior Ranger program. It invites kids to learn about wildlife, geology, ecology, and the park ranger's roles. They do this through working to get a badge by going on walks, talking to rangers, and doing booklet activities. A good example of this is my Craters to the Moon National Park Junior Ranger Guidebook, where you were able to go through an activity and match the animals to their different habitats within the national park that they are at. I also have my badges here from different programs that I have done through the Junior Ranger program. Another thing that the NPS does to educate the public is the use of their museums and exhibits. One that has really stood out to me has been the Dinosaur National Monument. Here, visitors are able to go to a quarry exhibit hall where they can learn about dinosaurs and see a wall of partially exposed dinosaur fossils. At Gettysburg, exhibits and artifacts of war help to tell the stories about the cost of war. These museums give a window into the past that would otherwise be closed off to us now. Finally, my favorite example of education is the Ranger-led talks. One that has stuck with me for years is the Badland National Park Night Sky Talks that help visitors understand astronomy while using their clear skies to put into perspective the effects that light pollution has on our residential areas. At Mammoth Cave, rangers lead visitors through the longest cave system while educating their guests on the formation of these caves and structures. Overall, educational programs that the NPS uses helps to show the importance of national parks while sparking a deeper appreciation for the beautiful sights and views. Even with all these positive aspects, national parks still face the growing challenges that come with increased tourism. One of the biggest is the environmental strain that is caused by increased traffic of people. First off, overcrowding and heavy tourism causes soil erosion. Many parks are attempting to remedy this through a few different methods. For example, when I went to Zion National Park, we had to get a permit prior to going down the narrowest trail. This was to reduce foot traffic and erosion. While many parks struggle to fight erosion, some have come to embrace it, like the Badlands National Park. Here, they have zones where people can free roam on the land, causing erosion. This erosion slowly reveals fossils and helps the rangers to study the effects of erosion on these lands. Second, the high traffic leads to a farther environmental strain in the form of waste and pollution. On long trails, people can sometimes take extreme measures, leading to improperly disposed waste along trails. Air pollution is also a severe issue, especially on high-traffic national parks. Zion, for example, took initiatives to enforce a mandatory electric service vehicle that visitors must use to travel through the park to different stations, according to Zion National Park's electric shuttles. This decreases car traffic and air pollution in the parks. Finally, there is wildlife disruption. Many animals become dependent on humans because people feed them, giving the animals a false sense of security around humans. This overpopulation of people can also bring diseases, such as white nose syndrome, which can be transmitted to cave bats from other locations. Many cave systems ask guests to cover their shoes to reduce the possibility of it being transferred. Conservation of wildlife is a focus of national parks, yet these issues bring the opposite effect to them. I have informed you of the two faces of the national park system, its conservation and educational purposes, as well as the environmental strains that it brings. National parks, monuments, and other places under the NPS are stable to America, showing why people sing of the spacious skies and purple mountain majesty. This can only be preserved if we all continue to respect and protect these treasures. The environmental strain can be solved, but it takes time and care from every visitor, so it's important to do your part when visiting these parks. By understanding both the pros and cons, we can help ensure that these lands remain wild, beautiful, and educational for generations to come. Thank you for listening to me tell you about my passions, and here are my citations. Thank you so much.